Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, everybody. I am Michael, Agent Field.
I am John.
And I'm Andrew. And with Michael dropping a nice little line there, you're listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. And this is where the three of us get together. We chat about a toy line that came out probably within one of our childhoods. Not necessarily. You know, we've gone back to the 50s. We're not that old. We talk about a toy line that released that you know, and talk about. Michael gives us a history lesson about how it goes from, you know, the shelves to your toy stores, or shelves at your toy stores, to our households. And I've completely lost track of where I'm at in my notes. We get a lesson about this, and this week with Michael's little drop there. We are rewinding back to 1984, and we're talking about the Marvel Secret Wars line released by Mattel. And I have a feeling we're going to talk a little bit about Kenner and DC in this, but we're going to try to mostly talk about Marvel. I'm more of a DC guy, but you know, I'll talk Marvel. It's all okay. So, yep. How are you guys doing this week?
Doing all right.
We're good.
Doing all right. Lots of Marvel talk. I have one question that I want to ask you guys. This is a very hard question to answer, and this is about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh Lordy, my favorite. I'm gonna have to. That's a tough one because there's a lot of good ones out there. You know, I really like Ragnarok. It was pretty good, pretty fun. And then Guardians of the Galaxy was another fun one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I guess I don't know. I'd have to put right now. I'd have to put, and I like the Spider-Man movies too, but you know they're in conjunction with Sony as well.
Right.
So, you know, I'm gonna have to say, you know, the Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man, and then the Ragnarok. Let's go that order.
Okay.
That's a tough one because there's a lot of good ones. You know, I even like, you know, I like all the you know, Winter Soldier and all those too. They're all good. So.
All right, John.
You know, another one, you know, Ant-Man. I really liked.
I thought he was done.
The first Ant-Man was up there. Just I told you, it's a hard one to pick. So, all right, John, you go.
All right.
You sure?
Yeah, go.
We can mute him if we need to, John.
Yeah, if we needed to. But I enjoy all of them. I am not a huge Marvel fan, nor DC, I guess you could really say. But yeah, actually watching them with Karen and Jackson and getting to watch the movies and stuff, I've enjoyed them all. But some of my favorite would be the Guardians of the Galaxy, just because I like the action and the way they play together and the comedy on it too.
Yeah, I have to go with Ant-Man being the top one for me. The comedy of both of those, just the comedy that comes out with it and the way they do the storytelling in that one, with a close second being Ragnarok, and then Guardians with their soundtracks really make those some of the best. So
yeah, the soundtrack makes Guardians pretty good too. Yeah.
The action of the first, like, you know, the first set, the first phase is really good. All of the Avengers movies are, you know, amazing. I even like the Ultron one, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun, and they're all great movies. So I would have to agree that this is probably one of the hardest things. Shang-Chi would be up there in my top 10, if not top 5. I thought it was really good.
Haven't seen it.
Did you ever see it, Michael?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah.
You saw it. Okay. I thought that one was really good. I like the story that it told and everything. So
is it on Disney Plus yet?
I think
but
it's like maybe it's in December or maybe it's first part of November. It's soon. It's not too far away.
It's this month. It comes out this month. I don't remember
this
what
month?
the date
Okay.
is, but it's this
That'll
month.
be in
It should
November.
be. Yeah, mid-November.
Since we are in November now, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people put down the Black Widow movie, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun to me. It was really good.
So I haven't seen that one, even though it is on Disney Plus. I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it yet, and I need to.
It's pretty fun. It's got some funny parts in it, and I thought it was a good movie.
I need to do a rewatch before we get heavy into, like, I guess really before Spider-Man.
You got Eternals coming out this weekend.
So yeah, you've got Eternals and Spider-Man coming.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
And I need to do a watch for all that and kind of get updated. Remember how things go, because I haven't seen Black Widow, but I want to watch it where it's supposed to be at.
Yeah,
right
it falls.
Civil War.
Before,
is it Civil War or is it
after Civil War and before Infinity War?
Yeah.
Right in that time period is where it falls.
So I want to watch it there and kind of see it where it's kind of supposed to be. But I saw a guy online. He's like making a one long supercut of all the movies and deleted scenes and everything. And he was trying to render it out, and it took him like 49 hours or something for it to render out. And it's like 40, or maybe it was like 50 hours, because he said it was like 2 days and 2 hours long, something like that.
That's a lot of time watching TV.
Yeah. I'd have to break it up, maybe into like smaller movies, and it all works out, right?
Yeah.
All right. Enough about movies. This is not a movie podcast. We're not here talking about movies. We're here to talk about the toys, and specifically this toy line from '84. So before we get into that, John, do your thing.
All right. So social networks or where to find us. Check our website out at toyrewindpodcast.com. You can also check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com with those guys. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook group, YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. A little bit different there. Make sure to spell out the podcast or you won't get the right one of us there. We do stream our toy box showcases when we have them to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Always check out our podcast bingo card at podcastbingo.com/toy rewind. We need to, Andrew, have you updated any of those squares or anything or found anything?
No, I need to update some. So if you've got them and you want to send them in, send them to me. I need to update some for the Dorksman also. So
I was about to say, I was listening. Yeah, I was listening to the Dorksman yesterday and trying to play bingo, and there wasn't very many squares that were being done.
We need
to update that.
I'm about 4 episodes behind, so yeah, I need to get in there and update. Sorry, guys, it happens. Life.
Yeah, you can take one of those podcast bingo squares and be where it says when someone says when they're talking, because I just got myself doing it. I know Michael does really really good with it when he's talking too. So and of course the last thing on there, check out our collector showcases when we do those with our friends over at the Geek Together channel, as we put those out there and everything. So
yep. Speaking about those toy box showcases, I believe last time we chatted, somebody was supposed to be doing some of them this week. I haven't personally gotten any notifications about any of them going live. I don't know.
The week's not over yet. I got a few more days this week.
Sorry, so the week's not over. So hopefully, maybe by the time you guys are hearing this, somebody will be getting a chance to do some. I know he's been doing a lot of stuff, but we're excited to see some of those Transformers, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't do all of them at once. There's a bunch here, so
I mean, you could do them all in an afternoon and just do different segments.
Yeah.
I mean, you do what you want to do. Like, yeah, you do you, man.
Just record them and post them as you want to, so you end up having like weeks worth of
there we go.
data
go.
that you can just knock them all out at
Maybe
one
so.
time.
Yeah.
And then you can drop them here and there.
All right. I do want to. We talked about Ghostbusters last week. That was last week? Yeah, it was last week.
Yes.
It was. And I do want to point out. So this past week, I got the sodas. I got a couple sodas, and I got a Chase. I'm happy to see this guy all covered in slime.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Vinkman. Now I need a Spangler. So to match. And then maybe
I have Spangler,
but
I just don't have a Chase.
You don't have a Chase. See, I have I have all of them. I just need the Chase ones to match now, so that I can get these. So
I didn't get that one. I do have Stay Puff with the Chase.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come steal your Stay Puff, John. It's gonna come up missing, and you're gonna be like, "Yep, Michael Andrews got that."
Hey, we can do some trading or something amongst ourselves.
I don't have anything that's. I don't have anything that's Ghostbusters, or that's Beetlejuice.
There's other stuff.
You're not getting my turtles. Stay away from my turtles. I don't know. Maybe we might have to figure that out. I need more room before that happens. So yeah, I just wanted I got that, and I just want to say shout out to Av over at Beehive. They did a great job at shipping those, and
I've got a box from Av coming probably tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be here. But I also want to shout out for Pop Collector Alliance. They have a store up in Keller, Texas, and I was able to pick up. Oh, it's wrong. Dark side. I was able to pick up this one here. This is the Walmart version.
I was like, shout out to Walmart. Come on.
But
Sam Walton's not sponsoring us.
I found this Funko exclusive Dark Side. So yeah,
nice
at his shop. He's got a nice shop, so we all need to get up there someday and just check him out. And
yes, yeah, we need to get up and check out Pop Collector Alliance. So
yes,
be a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, then, since we're here, we talked to a little stuff. I just want to point out that Ghostbusters stuff. But are we ready to rewind and get into it?
Let's rewind.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There you go. I did better.
All right. Okay, so back in episode 39, we talked about the DC Superpowers line.
Has it been that long ago?
It was episode 39 when we talked about them. And so a part of that history kind of ties in with this because DC and Marvel both were produced by Mego. Mego had the toy license for both of them from 1973 up till 83. And then Mego folded in 1983, so both of those licenses were up to grab. And we all know Kenner picked up the DC line, and Mattel actually wanted the DC line, but Kenner had a better presentation, and so DC went with Kenner. So Mattel picked up the Marvel line. They didn't want to be left out of the superhero game, so that's why they picked up Marvel anyway. And back in the 80s, or late 70s, early 80s, really the only Marvel thing going on was Hulk, the Incredible Hulk TV show. I think there was a Spider-Man show.
Shout out to Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. So it being green, mean and green, but
there you go.
So a lot of DC stuff was in the 80s. They were the biggest comics out there. You had Superman movies, you had the Wonder Woman TV show, you had Batman was starting to get big in the 80s up to the late 80s when they came out with the 89 Batman movie. And then there was 89 or 1990 Flash TV series. So the late 70s, early 80s was big on DC. So Marvel really wasn't that big at that time. They had their following, they had certain things going on. And then they really didn't expand, didn't really explode to the early 90s when all the X-Men stuff started hitting the cartoon series and all that kind of stuff. So there was so Mattel had some big ideas for this line. They wanted but they didn't want to take away from their Masters of the Universe, the Motu line. This was their biggest line at that time. The early 80s was Motu. So they wanted a secondary series to go along with that. And then Kenner was kind of eating into Motu with that DC Powers line. So they wanted something to kind of take back the superhero type stuff away from Kenner, so they could still keep that money going into Mattel. So when they took over, Mattel requested that Marvel support the line with an event comic that included the word secret and the word war, which they had focus groups with all these kids and stuff. And apparently secret and wars actually sounded good to the kids or something. So they just told them, make a comic book series with these two words. And they just put secret wars. That's where they said it. So
they really tried on that one. Yeah.
So the editor-in-chief, Jim Shooter, which we have spoke about him before in the Transformers line, he actually was the one that took the Transformers comic idea and kind of made he did like an 8-page treatment or something, and came up with the idea and gave it to his writers, and they ran with that. So this is the same Jim Shooter, the editor-in-chief of Marvel at the time. He came up with this idea with a year-long 12-issue crossover called Secret Wars. This is in this series, this crossover series, the most popular heroes and villains of that time were pulled out of their daily lives and then sent to a distant galaxy, and then given alien weapons and technology, and then forced to fight each other. I haven't read this series, so I don't know the ending of it or whatever. I just know they were pulled out of their regular daily stuff and had to fight each other in another galaxy with alien technology and stuff. So it was kind of a little bit different. And then once it was all over, they were put right back into where they were pulled from.
I mean, of course.
So
that was
some of Mattel's choices for this line impacted the look and direction of the superheroes. So one of the biggest impacts that Mattel wanted, they put out there for Marvel to do in this series was get a black costume for Spider-Man, change something up. So they came up with this black costume, and it wasn't intended to last very long in the comic book. So once Spider-Man was put back into his regular time, he was back to his red and blue suit. But Marvel actually ran with it. They actually took it, and then Mattel got excited too, because they were able to sell 2 different Spider-Man, just different colors. So they got more money out of one figure, just paint it different color.
Yeah, I will say, looking at the 2 figures, I like the black figure. It looks way better than that.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So
it's the same one. It's just
yeah. Well, the black
ahead,
Spider-Man has always looked a little better.
Yeah,
really, in almost anything.
Yeah. So the Marvel revealed this alien costume, what they called it, in the Amazing Spider-Man comic, and they introduced it to be a living alien creature, and then who separated from Spider-Man. This became Venom, and we all know where Venom's at now, as big and as that character has grown. You got Venom and Carnage and all those symbiotes, however you say that.
Symbiotes. Yeah.
Symbiotes, yeah.
You're good.
So we know how all that part of the Spider-Man lore grew after all this. So Marvel, Mattel, out of this toy line, Venom was born. So
I always wondered where Venom came from, like where the idea of Venom came from.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense.
They just wanted a different color suit on Spider-Man, and then the comics kind of ran with it, and they made it its own alien.
So why was he so special to get a different color?
I guess they were just tired.
You can't change Batman. Or it's not bad. You can't change Captain America. My bad. I'm mixing it. You can't change Captain America. He's got to be red, white, and blue. Doctor, who else? Like Iron Man, yeah. Actually, so Iron Man is Rhodey.
Yeah, this was something else that's come up. But yeah, the Iron Man figure in the comic book series is actually Rhodey in the Secret Wars issues. Rhodey took over because Tony Stark was in rehab or something like that. so they just wrote the story with Rhodey being taking over the Iron Man mantle for throughout these issues, and the back of the comic book had Rhodey, and the back of the card that has all the information of the figure is Rhodey. But as we'll get to here in a minute, each figure comes with a little shield and with some information on the shield, and the back of that shield had said it was Tony Stark. So they didn't change that information; they just changed the card, and the comic book all had Rhodey as being Iron Man. So another request that Mattel gave Marvel were design updates to Iron Man. So they kind of updated his look, and then the Doctor Doom also they told him, hey, Doctor Doom needs to look a little more updated. So they gave him some high tech looking costumes. And the toy line actually Doctor Doom doesn't have his cape, so they took that away. Gave him some kind of gadget-y looking armor. So he looks different than what he originally did before this, before Secret Wars came out. And they also wanted to add a few more female characters into the line, and then Marvel introduced the villains of Titania and Volcana, and then a new version of Spider-Woman. But with Mattel wanting them to come up with these characters, eventually, by the time they got into the line, they never even made these as figures. They just said, hey, we need more characters, and then they just kind of never went with the characters that they suggested. So Marvel came up with all these ideas for these new characters, but Mattel never ran with it. So
they came up with a new Spider-Woman. Who was it? Which one? Because there's so many. There's Spider-Gwen, Silk, Spider-Woman.
I'm trying to remember which one it was. I didn't write her name down.
I will. You continue to go. I will find it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Find out which one it is.
I'm just curious because there's so many.
I believe it was the one in the black and white suit.
Julia.
And the actual look of the Spider-Man in the black suit was actually black with the red spider instead of the white spider. But then they changed it to black and white instead of black and red. So that was something else that came up with this, with the designing of the new Spider-Man suit. So
the character was initially known as the second Spider-Woman, later known as Arcane, and then as the second Madam Web.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What was her name?
Spider-Woman. Julia Carpenter.
Yeah, Julia Carpenter. That's it. I knew. I read what you just said, but I knew there was a name there to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Julia Carpenter was the second Spider-Woman, and it was the black and white Spider-Woman costume. So
yeah, with really long gloves and really tall boots, basically.
Yeah. So there was dozens of characters that were involved in the comic series. The toy line only included 8 characters in the first wave of figures. So you had Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Doctor Doom, Dr. Octopus, Kang the Conqueror, and Magneto. So there was 4 good guys and 4 bad guys. These figures were 4.5 inches tall. Like I said, the back of the packaging came with character illustration and biography. There was a short 4-panel comic that depicted that kind of gave a little bit of story of what they were doing, and then also showed the other available figures in the wave as well on the back of the card. So all figures came with a secret shield accessory that held a lenticular image. So you lean it one way and you can see the hero, and you lean it the other way and you see his secret identity. So you would see Iron Man and you turn it a little bit, and you could see Tony Stark is what it was, or Spider-Man and Peter Parker. So that's so every shield had a lenticular thing that you would slide in, and on the back of it gave some more information of the character. So, and that's what I said with the Iron Man one. It said Tony Stark on that lenticular piece, but on the back of the card and in the comic series was Rhodey was the one that filled in for Iron Man.
Hey, Michael, how tall were the DC Powers collection? Were they the same size? I was trying to find it, and I couldn't find it.
They're close to the same size. I've got some sitting here right in front of me. I don't know if I remember if I wrote it down, because I've got those notes here too, but I don't see
anything.
Yeah, see, here's my
there.
So there's my Green Lantern here.
Yeah, so
I guess we can measure them.
Yeah, so they're about the same height. So they're about 4. I don't have a tape measure.
They're about 4.5. So okay.
Yeah, 4.5 inches.
I was just curious.
They may be a little bit taller than the DC line.
Mixing the two together and playing with them,
Yeah.
I mean, that's sacrilegious, but it could happen.
Yeah. The like I said, all of these characters came with shields. The good guys came with a round red shield, and then the villains came with the squarish gray shield. And those lenticular pieces that slide in, they slide in and out because you get extra ones with the vehicles and the play sets, and you can slide them in and out and kind of show different scenes on those shields.
I was going to say, do you know how many each one came with, or how many for each character do they have?
I think they came with 2. There was one with the biography and one with like an action shot.
Okay.
On those. So when you bought it, you got 2 of them with it.
I know this one has 4.
Because you can switch them in and out. So
John's currently looking for some to buy. So
yeah, probably so.
Well, Iron Man has no. I'm not big Marvel. I already said that. Iron Man. This picture with Iron Man has 4 of the pictures.
Yeah.
4 different slides.
Well, you can pick up. Like I said, the other the vehicles and stuff came with one as well. So, the Captain America, getting with the figures here, Captain America, he came only with this secret shield. The strange thing is, and a lot of people were upset when this line came out, was his main weapon is his shield, made out of vibranium, but he didn't have it in this toy line. It just came with that lenticular shield that with the red one. So it was kind of weird. But that's the only thing he came with was that shield. Iron Man, who was James Rhodey Rhodes, as we know, we talked about, he came with a laser pistol weapon. And then like I said, the comic and short biography on the back card was Rhodey. The secret shield depicted Tony Stark. So they weren't really consistent on that.
I feel like somebody just didn't get the memo that they were changing it.
Yeah, somebody didn't. They didn't read the comic book series, I guess, because the comic book series was had already come through halfway before this toy line even came out. So they were already supporting this toy line before it came out with
so somebody was behind
issues. Yeah. So Spider-Man in this first wave was the classic red and blue costume. He didn't have anything but that shield. Like I said, all of them came with this shield, and they all looked exactly the same. Just the lenticular piece would slide in was different for each character. So Wolverine came with he had clip-on claws. They started out black, and then they changed it to silver because the black didn't look like his claws that came out. There was silver claws, and they gave him black ones, so they had to change that. And during the run, Dr. Doom, he came with a laser pistol and a laser rifle. The rifle fit into a socket on the back of his torso. The pistol actually attached to a green plastic holder on his upper right leg. Doc Ock came with a silver plastic tentacle, so he had all his legs. Kang the Conqueror, he had a laser pistol, and then Magneto came with a laser pistol. So some of these that come with the pistols, I don't, they didn't have pistols back in the comic books. They just had their powers. So I don't know why I guess because in the comic books they were given these alien weapons to fight each other with. So I guess that's what these are. So now series 1, this is what surprised me because I thought this line was a lot bigger than what it really is.
I actually did too.
So from what I remember as a kid, we had several of these, but I always thought it was a pretty good line. And then when I'm digging into this, it's series 1, wave 1 didn't sell as well as thought. So Mattel cut back on wave 2 by only producing 5 figures. So that I don't know why they didn't, because the DC Powers line actually outperformed really well from, like I said, during the 80s was more DC than Marvel too. So that could be it. And the so the wave 2, you had Baron Zemo, you had Daredevil, you had Falcon, and you had Hobgoblin. And then you had Spider-Man in a black suit. So, Baron Zemo, these actually came with more accessories that fit the character than the first wave did. Because you got Baron Zemo, he came with a genetic blaster laser pistol. A genetic blaster. Not generic. Genetic. If I say that right. Daredevil came with a black or silver billy club. Falcon had the brown plastic, this little brown is his Falcon, which was Red Wing. It was just brown plastic. And then he had adjustable wings that fit on his back. They were red, and you can fold them out to make it look like he's flying. And then you had Hobgoblin. He had a removable orange plastic cape, so he actually kept his cape. And then he had a 3-piece purple Goblin glider. So you had the main part he stood on, and then you had the 2 wings that would clip on. So it was 3 different pieces that you had to put together. And then Spider-Man just came with it was just a black suit Spider-Man. So like I said, these guys' accessories actually fit the character better than the accessories from the first wave. So and the third wave was actually part of the second wave, but this didn't get put out in the second wave. So there was 3 other figures which would have made that 8 if they would have done it, but they held off on these 3, and they actually sent all 3 of these. All of them just went to Europe. They weren't even released in the U.S. So because sales were so bad on this, it didn't do as well as what Mattel thought it would. And they were making money, bukus of money off of Motu at the time, but but this line just didn't happen for them. So the last 3 that came out, you had Constrictor. He had a silver plastic Constrictor cable. I don't know much about this character, so I don't know what this cable was that he had. So maybe some of the big Marvel comic book guys can let us know. But Electro was in this line. Was in this wave, and then Iceman was in this wave. And Iceman was made of opaque white plastic, so he's kind of see some light through him, whatever, make him look like he's kind of ice. And the only thing that was detailed on him was his eyes and his belt buckle, and that was it. So
it doesn't say anything on what I'm reading up. I don't know much about this, but let's see here. Question. This report says it's the most bewildering character choice across the entire deal because he has nothing to do with the Secret Wars comics.
Yeah, there were several of them that weren't. I mean, they told. What was weird was they told Marvel, "Hey, you need more female characters. You need this in this comic book. We need this to support the line." But they don't even use those characters.
None of it.
No, the first female character that they said that probably would have came out like in the fourth wave or the third full third wave was Dazzler. And Dazzler was a character that wasn't even in Secret Wars either in a comic book. So they just kind of told Marvel, hey, this is what we want you to do. And then they just kind of stray away from that. So, but yeah, it's just really weird how Marvel, and if they would have stuck to, I think with the comic book kind of flow, it may have worked better. I don't know. But yeah, they just kind of strayed away from what they told Marvel they wanted to get to do, and Marvel did their part. And like I said, actually, it came up with some great characters. Like you got Venom now out of that, and then you have the other female characters you wouldn't have until after this comic book. So yeah, so it was just kind of weird how Mattel kind of abandoned what they had big plans for.
And like you said, they were swimming in Motu money at that point. So they may have just been. They were like, we got these ideas, but
they were afraid to. They were afraid they didn't like. This was second fiddle for Mattel.
Yeah,
because Motu was doing so good, Masters Universe. So they didn't want us to dig into that Motu money. They just wanted to dig into the superhero money, which is what DC Superpowers was, and over at Kenner. So
they were just upset that they lost to Kenner and wanted to jump in and be like, "We're here, we got this." And then, they just.
If Mattel did get the DC line, I don't think that line they would have done anything with that line either.
Right. So they kind of flopped. I think Mattel flopped this. It's their fault.
Yeah. The Kenner line, the DC Powers Kenner line, they all had action features. So you squeeze their legs, their arms would move. You squeeze their arms, their leg would move. You twist them, they would do different things. The only thing Marvel put in this was these secret shields with the lenticular thing. And we all know how we've talked about the other lines with the holograms and stuff like that they just didn't. Stuff like that kind of gimmick just never worked. I mean, it was big during that time in the 80s, but for a toy line to have that gimmick, they just didn't work.
I think this should have gone. Marvel should have gone with Shopper. They would have done a great job with these.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have got like the Ghostbuster stuff. So.
And I actually like these. These are all pretty cool. I mean, they're very simple.
They weren't that articulated. They had
5.
Their head. If their heads moved, they were 5. I know their arms and their legs, and that was it.
I mean, Doc Ock's a little different. He's got his, extra.
Well, no. He's got his deals, but I know I'm looking at 5 on Doom.
Okay, so if his head moves, then it got 5 points of articulation. So. But the superheroes, the DC superpowers, they've got the action, like I said.
Yeah.
So that was a lot funner to play with than.
Because if you can get their arm to move and you don't have to do, and it's like a chopping motion. Definitely.
You can actually make them fight and stuff like that. So, these games, going back to the figures here, the line, they did come in 2 and 3 packs as well. You had 2 packs. You had Captain America and Doctor Doom came packed together. There was a 3-pack, Superheroes 3-pack with Captain America, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. You had the Supervillains 3-pack with Doctor Doom. Yeah, Doctor Doom, Magneto, and Kang. And again, with Kang, I think he was big in the late 70s and early 80s in the Marvel scheme of things, and then he was kind of forgotten because now I think we're going to get more Kang into the Marvel Cinematic Universe because of the Loki show, and then he's supposed to be in was it Guardians coming up? Guardian Galaxy, is he supposed to be in it? And he may make an appearance like in the Doctor Strange movie and stuff like that. So anyway, so this is a character that was kind of forgotten anyway. So it was kind of weird when I saw Kang in here. I didn't even think about him being in this line. So there was also a hero gift set. It had Daredevil, Spider-Man in the black suit, and Captain America. There was it was a box that came with 2 characters, Hobgoblin and Baron Zemo. They were in little plastic baggies in this box, and I think it was like a Mattel mail-in. It didn't have any kind of affiliation with any stores or anything, so it was just like a special mail-in you can do, and you've got Hobgoblin and Baron Zemo. And then there was a Sears 2-pack box that was available only through the 1984 Wish Book catalog. Like I said, they came in little plastic baggies inside of a white box. They had 3 of them. There was one with Wolverine and Kang, another one with Spider-Man and Doc Ock, and then you had Iron Man and Magneto. So I would think you would put Wolverine with Magneto because the X-Men crossover.
I mean,
yeah.
But Iron Man and Magneto, who wins in that fight?
Magneto, since he's magnetic, you know. And Iron Man is
and he's just like he just crumples Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that makes more sense is Spider-Man and Doc Ock because they're the ones that are a good guy, bad guy in the book. So
Iron Man Kang would have been good, and then Wolverine Magneto, like you said, you switch those two up, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's talk about these play sets.
Yeah, you want to do the play sets first?
Let's talk to the play sets.
Okay. So the first play set, you had 2 play sets. There was a Freedom Fighter play set, and it was kind of like a platform thing. You had the base part, and then there was a platform where you can park your helicopter on, and then off to the side, one of the arms was like a little radar thing, and then up a little higher on another arm was like a ray gun or something. So it wasn't really it was a play set. It really wasn't like a fortress or anything like that. It was just something with 3 little platforms, one to park your helicopter, one for the radar that you could get messages in, I guess. And then
it only works
communications
really,
and stuff. Then you got your gun.
Yeah, it only really works if you've got the helicopters.
I guess we should have started with the helicopters.
First. Well, we'll get there. We got to have somewhere to put it, first. Yeah. All right, so the Tower of the Doom playset also.
So this is more like a fortress type thing. Tower of Doom. It has, it has a little steel cage door that you can get trapped in. It's got little guns on top that your figure can stand out in front of and shoot and everything. So, and it's got a front and a back. The front looks like a fortress, and the back is kind of open where you have all your little rooms and stuff. And there's a bottom, like the base of it, and then there's a top one where it's got like a little computer stuff your characters can stand on. And then above that, you have a thing where you have a turret gun or something on top of there to shoot. So, I mean, it's not highly detailed. It's got a little platformer or chair, whatever, where your figure can sit on.
That goes across the whole back side, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like it's for Dr. Doom, because it's Tower of Doom. So. And on that Freedom Fighter playset, it's red, white, and blue. It looks more Captain America than any of the others. So, yeah. So, I mean, they were not really big playsets like we talked about last week with the Ghostbusters house.
Or even Grayscale, like Grayskull.
Captain Grayskull. and some of the other playsets that we've talked about. This one is not as detailed and a lot of different things. I think the biggest thing in it, it's got a little double door where you walk in the door and then another door shuts and you're kind of trapped in a cage. Yeah, that's about it. So, but the vehicles that came in this line, they like I said, they all came with extra secret message lenticular inserts that you can slide into their shields. It actually showed the vehicle in action. So it had two different scenes on that with the different actions for this vehicle. So there was two motorcycles. There was a turbo cycle for the good guys and doom cycle for the bad guys. They looked exactly the same, except just different colors and different stickers. The turbo cycle was blue and white, and it had like little red, white, and blue shield looking thing like Captain America's. And then the doom cycle was all black, and it had flames on it. What's funny about this is the turbo cycle came with Captain America, but the black doom cycle came with Doctor Doom. But and like I said, only in the second series they came with figures. The first, when they were released first, they didn't have the figures. So the second series that these were released in, they came with the figures. So the Doom one actually has a little M thing on the front of it for Magneto, but it's called Doom Cycle, and it comes with Doctor Doom. So I don't know why they have Magneto's emblem on the front there, but whatever. They have two helicopters. They had the turbo copter for the good guys, a doom copter for the bad guys. So these helicopters, they fit three different figures in them, and it was a tight squeeze because this helicopter was reused from a different line, and the line that it was used in originally was 4-inch figures, and like I said, these are 4.5-inch figures. They fit, but it was really tight for the figures. So the turbo copter was blue. It had Captain America's shield on the hood, on the front of it, and it came with the Captain America. The Doom copter was black, and it came with Doctor Doom with it as well. The stickers on it, the front of it looks like Doctor Doom's face, and then the top stickers on both of them look kind of computerized looking things, microchips or so whatever on the top of that. So these came with little missiles that would fold out, that would come out, and you could shoot the missiles. It had a little like a little machine gun type thing on one of the rails. So these actually had, and the propellers turned, so it actually had some playability with these. It was just a tight fit for your figures if you got 3 figures in there. So.
Yeah, I love how they got really creative with the names for all of them.
Yeah, they're all, the good guys are Turbo and the bad guys are all Doom.
Yeah,
so.
Except for the glider.
Except for the glider, who we're talking about now. So there's 2 gliders in this. You had the good guys and bad guys. You got Star Dart glider, which was good. The good guys, which was white, and it came with a black costume Spider-Man. So this one didn't. You would figure this would come with another Captain America, but no, because it's white, and the stickers. Once you put all the stickers on there, it's red and red and blue stripes. It looks America. So, but it came with the black costume Spider-Man. The Doomstar glider is the bad guys. It's black, of course, and this one came with Kang with this one. So again, you would think Doom would be Dr. Doom, but it's Kang. And then there's one last vehicle in this line. It's the last thing on here, called the Doom Roller. This was a battery-powered mono-wheel 2-seat car. So it looked like a little pod that you could sit 2 figures in it, and it sat inside this looked like a hamster wheel or train tracks that's looped and looking like a hamster wheel, and you would turn on the battery powered mechanism, and it would roll. It would roll inside this wheel, and the wheel would turn, and it would move. So it was a pretty cool piece. I think it's probably the best piece in this line.
Yeah.
I think you get more play out of this piece than you can any of the other pieces or figures or anything.
That one just looks like, that figure just looks fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
That roller.
Yeah. So, like I said, it looks like a railroad track that's looped around like a hamster wheel, and that car sits inside of it and makes it roll.
Yeah.
But
Did it come with anybody?
I didn't see that it came with any figures. It was just that, and I'm sure with it being battery powered, it was probably the most expensive thing other than the play sets.
Right.
But even the play sets seemed pretty cheap to me, so there wasn't much to them.
Talking about prices, the figures themselves sold for $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I couldn't really find exact detailed on any of the vehicles or the play sets on how much they sold, but I do know the figures sold for $3.99, which is only $10.50 today. So it's not a bad price, to be honest. I mean, probably a little bit more, but that would. I feel like these would be on the shelves for $7.99 to $10.99 right now, anyways.
Yeah.
So they would fall in that range.
Something like that.
If you're looking to pick any of these up, you can get them for the most part, any of the figures uncarded with play wear for anywhere around 20-ish bucks and lower. So $20 probably the highest you're going to pay. If you're looking for a mint carded, they're probably $150 to $200, but much significant lower price than what the DC Power Collection is, which is funny because there's more of. It seems like there's more of those in the R&Vs, and still the prices aren't that bad.
There are, the last 3 figures that were released in Europe. If you're trying to get those, that's where you're going to pay your money right there. Is that Constrictor, Electro, and Iceman. If you get one of those carded, you're going to spend quite a bit of money because it's from over there. But the rest of the figures are pretty easily found, and so they're not going to be that high. Just those last 3 that were only released in Europe are going to be the hard ones to find.
Interestingly enough, Michael, the Doom Roller, you can get it out of box for about $50. If you're looking for full box, maybe anywhere from $125 to $300, depending on how you catch it.
Wow. Yeah.
So not actually all that bad, really.
No, this is a pretty out of some of the most of the lines that we've talked about, pricing and stuff. This one is probably going to be the one of the lower end pieces, and they've actually gone up in price a little bit here the last few years because of the MCU.
Yeah,
sure.
Probably because we talk about them too.
And a lot of these guys, you've got Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America, which have been hanging around the last 10 years. And then you have Doc Ock, who I think is going to be reintroduced or brought back in this next Spider-Man movie.
No spoilers.
So I think that one's going to be. And then with all this other stuff going on, we may end up seeing Doctor Doom down the line, and Wolverine and Magneto eventually in the MCU was what I bet.
So what you're saying, if you're going to get them now.
Get them now.
Yeah, I think they'll go up, but I don't think
they're
not going to be anywhere close to the DC Superpowers line. So.
Well, let's look at this. We need to rank these on our list.
One other thing, real quick. These did come with a little comic book inside their thing too. It was just a couple pages kind of idea on that figure. So a little description of the figure.
Oh, okay. All right, we need to rank these on our list real quick. So, Michael.
And we did have a few of these growing up. We had, I'm trying to remember. I know we had Doctor Doom.
I was about to say, I remember a Doom.
And it was Doom, and I think we had Captain America. I know we had those two. I'm sure we've had a couple others as well.
We had a Daredevil something, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember if it was in this line or if it was a different line we had. I would put these ranked on my list. Probably number 7.
Number 7.
I got DC Superpowers up at number 3, and this is not as high as those guys.
Yeah.
So 7.
John?
8.
8. Just 8. No explanation. Just 8.
Just 8. DC Superpowers has more play action with them, so I'm going to keep those up there. I like the Cops and Crooks figures a whole lot more than I did these, so I'm actually at 8.
I'm actually putting these at 5. My DC Super collection is up top at 3, and then Filmation's Ghostbusters is right there at 4. So I like these. I think these are cool, and I like you said we had some. I remember playing with Doom. And
these fit right in my wheelhouse where I was at age a little bit, being older than you guys. Yes, they fit in right when I was at that point as a kid. 7, 8 years old, right there. The DC Superpowers and the these Marvel Secret Wars were all right there, and I remember having both series. I'm more of a DC guy. I like the Superpowers collection better because of the action part of it, but I enjoyed playing with these Secret War guys as well. So
that's sure Andrew doesn't remember having much of these.
I remember Doom. I remember Doom.
We had held on to them for a while then, since they came out in '83. So
that's all right.
I just like the Crops and Crooks a little bit better.
Yeah, that's all right. You're very familiar with both, so that's all right.
All right.
All right. Well, then I think that's all we've really got about these guys. I think it's a cool line. It could have been better. I wish there would have been a lot more to it. If they did this now, I think there could be obviously a lot more to it, or whatever, especially with the DCU.
Then you had, was it Toy Biz came back out with these in 1990? They came out with a new line of these Secret Wars, and then they've been released again since then. Here just recently, I believe they put out another Secret Wars line. Some other toy line did, but they weren't as widespread as the Mattel versions of them. So.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, with that, thanks everybody for listening. Real quick before we head out and we wrap this one up, stay tuned to our social networks that John mentioned earlier. If you're looking for those, go check them out. You can find them all on TwitterRewindPodcast.com or acrossthestreamsmedia.com. Either one of those, our Twitter, our Instagram, the Facebook group, all the good stuff. So check us out there. That's where we will be letting people know about our collector showcases and the upcoming toy box showcases that Michael's going to be doing with his Transformers. So be sure you check those out.
I got other things in Transformers here that.
Oh, okay.
I do have a lot of these Transformers,
but specifically the Transformers that we need to do because you've got so many of those,
right?
And it's the studio series,
right? Yeah. So also go check out Geek Together. That's where we do the collector showcases with. And when you're over on Cross the Streams Media, check out all of our partner podcasts we have over there, including the Dorksmen, the STS guys, Secondary Heroes, 3 Beers on a Mic, the Movie Gap podcast, the Dan Aykroyd podcast, the Burt Reynolds and Charles Bronson podcast, Front Row Negative, The Art of the Boar, and Beering Ain't Easy, and so many more probably to be coming. I know the group's still growing, so check all those guys out. Lots of fun, lots of good content there. While you're there, send us a message. And if you would, please go give us a rating and review, maybe a 5-star rating over on the iTunes, podcast network, wherever it's at. I don't do much with Apple anymore except for my computer, so I don't know. So yeah, do that for us. It'd be awesome and great. And I'm about to go watch a hockey game, so
fun.
Lots of fun. What else? We got anything else?
No. That's about it. That's all, folks.
Oh my God. All right. Well, then we're going to wrap this up. This is 61, episode 61, where we talked about Marvel Secret Wars. If you want to hear the episode, rewind and listen to it from the beginning. I don't know why you would be just tuning in right at the last few seconds, but that's your fault, not mine. All right. Well, then, on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.